Okay, welcome back to part 2 of After Rapture Rewards and Events. This is your friendly neighborhood Walter Shepherd, and I'm not going to reiterate part 1 because I digress enough, so I'll just end up taking up more time. And on this new system, I've only got 20 minutes to talk before I have to shut things down. Okay, anyway, I left off on day 1 talking about how you servants will be getting your own piece of land during the 1,000 years of peace, from which, yes, you will be able to build your new families. During heaven, you will find your eternal partner, or maybe even sometime during the 1,000 years of peace, you will find your eternal partner. And you could call them a wife or a husband. But there will be no more marriages, because marriage is a part of the man-made law that was used during the time before the rapture. And in heaven, there's no giving or taking in marriage, but there is a partnering of two people that are made for each other, because God made somebody for everybody. And I'm sure there will be some people out there who the Lord has determined that they're going to be single forever, and that's fine. The Lord is not going to force you to have a partner. He's not going to force you to have a wife or a husband. If you just want to be a single man forever, that's fine. If you just want to be a single woman forever, that's fine too. Again, God's not going to force you to do anything. But there's a lot of people that do want partners, and there's a lot of people that do want families. There's a lot of women who are barren, and there's a lot of men who are sterile, that it's always been their desire to have families. So in heaven, no, you will not be able to have children, because you will be inside eternity. You will be in the presence of all-encompassing oneness that is God. But once you get back down to earth, then you're in time and space. You're in a whole different dimension. You're in a whole different realm. And within time and space, there is the capacity for a physical union, for a physical joining together of a man and woman to enjoy each other in that way. And out of that, the Lord is, when God regenerates your body during the rapture, it's not like he's going to take your eternal organs and just throw them away because you don't need them anymore. No. Just like Jesus, when he was resurrected, he was still able to eat, although he didn't need to eat because he was part of eternity. And I would imagine he didn't need to sleep, but he could still rest if he wanted to. And that's just like you servants too. With your new regenerated bodies, you won't need to eat and you won't need to sleep, but you can still enjoy those things. If you go to sleep, you can explore the realm of where dreams are, and you can create your own dreams. And I'm digressing again. And you'll still be able to eat too during the 1,000 years of peace. I've seen this vision of this new kind of plant, because the animal kingdom is going to be rebuilt and redesigned. There will be no killing of animals to eat. But right now, we've created so many great recipes that involve meat. So during the 1,000 years of peace, not only is there going to be recreated animals like dinosaurs and stuff like that, and all the extinct animals, but there's going to be new kinds of plants as well. Plants that we've never seen before, plants that have never been before. And one of those plants I've seen in this vision, it looks kind of like a stalk of corn. You peel the leaves back, but inside is this kind of fibrous looking material. It looks and feels just like meat, except it's a vegetable, but it has the same texture and consistency of meat. And I would imagine that there is more than one kind of plant, there's more than one kind of flavor. And so I'm sure there could be what you could call a chicken plant or a beef plant or a seafood plant, but it would have the same kind of texture as meat. So all those recipes that we made, they won't go to waste. So during the 1,000 years of peace, you'll still be able to have a barbecue, but you won't have to kill any animals in order to enjoy a barbecue. You will just have to pick up one of those meat plants. So anyway, also during the 1,000 years of peace, for those of you that have always desired it, those of you that always wanted it, yes, I believe you will still be able to have children, because the Bible has told us in a number of places that your generations will continue to 1,000 generations, and I believe that was just sort of a metaphorical speech, saying that your family bloodline will continue. And because the curse of sin has been broken, women, when they have a baby, they will not be having the same kind of labor pains, because the labor pains are a result of the curse that came from the disobedience in the Garden of Eden, the Bible tells us. So once that curse is broken, there will be no more labor pains for the women. It'll be a more pleasant experience. And children, because the children of the servants of the Lord will not have that nature. They will not have that Adamic nature, the nature that tends to rebel. The children will be born into godliness. They will be born into the first words that they say yes are yes. They will be born into obedience. Whereas the flesh and blood people on the face of the planet, they will still be dealing with the curse of Adam. So during the 1,000 years of peace, there's going to be two kinds of human beings on the earth: the flesh and blood people, the survivors of Armageddon. They will grow in numbers over the 1,000 years of peace, but they will be ruled and they will be guided by you servants of the Lord, and you servants of the Lord also will be able to have children. And so on and so on. So that's one of the things during the 1,000 years of peace, and during the 1,000 years of peace, because you will have that ability, you can think yourself from one place to the other. You can think yourself between earth and heaven, or you can think yourself from one place on earth to the other place on earth, just like Jesus did when all of a sudden he appeared in the room and the door was locked and everything. So Jesus is able to think himself from one place to another. Basically, if you want to look at it in a science fiction way, he could transport himself from one location to another. So you'll be able to do that too. You can travel at the speed of thought. And not only between heaven and earth, but also in other places in the universe. You can think yourself to the moon, and because your body is composed of eternal matter, you won't need to breathe. You could walk on the bottom of the ocean. You won't need to breathe. You can just be there. You can just enjoy what it's like walking around on the bottom of the ocean, or on the surface of the moon, or even on the surface of the sun if you wanted to walk there. Again, you're in time and space, but you're also part of eternity too. So you can exist in all places at all times, because that's one of the rewards that you'll be getting for being a servant of the Lord, is you can venture around the universe at the speed of thought. Or if you build a spaceship, you can take a spaceship. Anyway, okay, during the 1,000 years of peace, see, I digressed again. Okay, so point form. Let's go through this point form through the 1,000 years of peace. Okay, through the millennium, you will have your positions of authority and you will have your duties. And I could digress on that, or you go back in the past videos. I've talked about that as well. And there's the desires of the heart. So all the things that you've always wanted to do now but can't do because of money or because of travel or because of your physical limitations, you'll be able to do that during the 1,000 years of peace. So if you've always wanted to learn how to ski down a mountain, you'll be able to do that during the 1,000 years of peace. If you've always wanted to learn how to waterboard or to skateboard or to ride a motorcycle or fly an airplane at supersonic speeds, you'll be able to do that as well. You won't need an airplane to fly because you'll be able to fly just in your glorified body, or you can take an airplane if you want and you can learn how to fly. The servants of the Lord will make great test pilots. Once we start developing technology, right now on the face of the planet, obviously I'm going to digress a bit. It took about less than 300 years for mankind to go from steam-powered engines to rocket flight. And so during the 1,000 years of peace, we will be able to achieve flight in an even shorter time space. So yes, we will have airplanes, we will have cars, we will have boats, we will be developing all that, because all the servants right now that know how to design cars and boats and airplanes and architects. They're going to get their raptured, regenerated bodies, so they will come back during the 1,000 years of peace, and we will help design a society that actually works. A society where cars don't pollute, where vehicles don't pollute, and where there's no monetary system. There's no rich people. People are not working for deadlines. People are just doing things because they want to do those things. They've always enjoyed those things. Those are their natural skills and talents. So society during the 1,000 years of peace is going to be built up so quickly. We'll have so many modern cities and so much more advanced technology, because they'll be done without sin. They'll be done without corruption. They'll be done for the good of helping out other people. Jesus will also be teaching us about creation too, how to create and manipulate the various laws of nature, how to manipulate and rearrange atoms to change atoms from like what he did. He could take the atoms of water and rearrange them so they became the atoms of wine. Or when he was walking on the water, he could speak to the atoms so they went from liquid water to solid water. So he's able to walk on them. He could command all the atoms. He could command the molecules, and he could command the very forces of nature, so that he could make something out of nothing, like he did with the fish and with the bread. He just took the air molecules and he rearranged them into fish, or he rearranged them into bread, or he could well have just transported them from the fish from the ocean, transported them to the basket in order to feed the 5,000. We have no idea exactly how he did it, but he's going to show us how to do it. So we'll be learning about the various laws of nature as well. After that, let's get that, blah, blah, blah. And then there'd be some family time where you can enjoy your family. You can explore and you can discover creation on the earth. You can just walk around the entire planet Earth, or you can walk around the galaxy. And let's see if I can get into that. Okay, during the 1,000 years of peace, mankind, that is, the survivors of Armageddon, they will still have their sin nature. They will still have the ability to choose between right and wrong. Whereas you servants of the Lord will not. You will have your godly nature. That's why God is putting you in charge of helping to rule and reign the survivors of Armageddon as they grow throughout the 1,000 years of peace. Because they will still have that same nature that we have now. They will still be able to do wrong if they want to do wrong. But during the 1,000 years of peace, the flesh and blood people, they won't have Satan there to tempt them to do wrong. They will just have their own godly, their own Adamic nature that will make them want to do wrong. But because you're setting the example, and because you're setting down the rules, and you are the leaders and the rulers during the 1,000 years of peace, it won't be so easy for them to break the law. The Bible tells us that during the 1,000 years of peace, the knowledge of God is going to be obvious, as obvious as when we go outside now. We know there's going to be air. We know there's going to be sun. We know there's going to be clouds. We know that because it's always been that way. So during the 1,000 years of peace, the presence of God is going to be known. Everybody's going to know that there is a God. There will be no more guesswork. There will be no more faith. We will just know that there is a God because it'll be obvious. It'll be one of those obvious things that everybody will just know during the 1,000 years of peace. So it won't be as easy for people to sin, for those flesh and blood people to sin. But if I could skip ahead to the end of the 1,000 years of peace, because they will still have that nature. That's why, at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, that's why Satan is going to be let loose for a short season. So for a few months, maybe a year or so, we have no idea. It just says for a season. And a season, biblically speaking, can either be for a few months or it could be for a couple of years. There's no real definite amount of time. So anyway, for a certain amount of time, Satan will be let loose at the end of the 1,000 years of peace. And he's going to go out and he's going to tempt the flesh and blood people. He won't be able to tempt you servants, because you servants will be beyond temptation. You'll beyond any ability to even think to sin. So Satan is going to be weeding out those flesh and blood people that would choose to disobey God. So at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, he's going to find all those people that want to choose to sin, and he will be forming an army, and once again he'll be trying to destroy Jerusalem. And that's when God himself sends down the fire from heaven to destroy the last of those people that can be tempted, and that's when he destroys Satan forever. So all the flesh and blood people at the end of the 1,000 years of peace will have will be beyond temptation. They will have faced Satan, and they will have said no. They will have they will have done what Adam and Eve could not do. So during all that time, it'll take all that time, 7,000 years, to redeem Adam and Eve's mistake. Adam and Eve's mistake was disobeying God and giving into the temptation of the devil. So Adam and Eve's great grandchildren will face that same temptation, but the majority of them will say no. And that's why it says in the Bible, in the book of Revelation, that's why those people will finally get to eat the fruit of the tree of life, and they will gain immortality. So at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, those two kinds of human beings, the flesh and blood people, as well as the redeemed servants of the Lord, both of them will be able to live forever. So the flesh and blood people, during the 1,000 years of peace, they will still have a limited lifespan, although their lifespan will be about 300-400 years. But at the end of the 1,000 years of peace, they will become immortal. Those that do not give in to temptation, they will become immortal, just like you servants of the Lord. And so, during the 1,000 years of peace, mankind, because it has that ability to sin, will not be allowed to go beyond the solar system. Mankind will not be allowed to take its sin nature out into the galaxy, into the vast cosmos. But during the 1,000 years of peace, there will be a group of servants that will be building spaceships, galaxy-class spaceships, large, huge, people-carrying spaceships, bigger than aircraft carriers, bigger than ships like, say, the Starship Enterprise, or great big huge star cruisers. They will be building them during the 1,000 years of peace, but they won't be used until after the 1,000 years of peace. Because after the 1,000 years of peace, that's when the flesh and blood people, that's when they will be able to go explore the galaxy. Because even though the flesh and blood people, after the millennium, they will have immortality, they won't have the ability to think themselves around the universe the way you servants of the Lord can. So if they're going to explore the galaxy, they will have to do it in a spaceship. So a fleet of spaceships will be built during the millennium, and then they will be dispersed after the 1,000 years of peace, when God moves heaven and earth together. I think that's about it for now. I will continue this later. The time is coming to an end, so I don't want this to just shut off. So that's it. We'll talk to you later. Be a blessing wherever you are in internet land and YouTube world. Take care, stay in prayer. We'll see you in Jesus' kingdom somewhere over there. We'll see many of you up in the air already. Remember, Jesus rules.